John would take a little offense that I was the one and only founder. But he's not here, so I am. I'm the only founder. Oh, I think I just saw him walk by. So I was just emailing back and forth with some people back at headquarters and talking about just how amazing it is that now here we have coaches putting together events of their own that have as much energy and enthusiasm, and in some cases just like leadership capabilities that are bigger than our original summit. What you guys are doing as the crew, as this magnificent team is really just fantastic. So we have the crew, the swarm, and what's it, Transformers? Like what else? Victory. I guess, there's a bunch of different things. And look, I'm so proud of first off, the three guys and their families who put this together. Jimmy's been with us forever, Tommy's been with us forever, and Mike was one of the original coach advisory board members and was extremely valuable in that capacity. He was a great leader up in Bakersfield. Had the chance to, ironically, the same flight crew that took me to Bakersfield brought me to Vegas. That's probably good luck. That's random. But in any case, you guys are doing a great thing, and clearly we lost a fantastic member of the team over the last couple weeks, and it's sad, but at the same time, for me, reminds me of how important our work is, and just how important it is to take every day and make something of it. Last night I was at the elite reception at the core and met so many incredible elite coaches, so many of the new elite coaches, and was just like, where do you people come from? How is it possible that you can see all this bad news, all these things going on around the world, and then you meet these people with these magnificent hearts who are doing it for the right reason, who are inspiring me every day. And like I heard stories of a woman who was in a job that she completely disliked. She was the breadwinner for the family. So in whatever gaps she had between raising the family, being the mom, and a full-time job, managed to replace that income as a Team Beachbody coach, so now she gets to work from home. Another woman is working her way through stage 4 cancer and attributes her ability to keep it together and be healthy and keep her full head of hair as she's going through rounds of chemo to the fact that she has this baseline of health and fitness with Shakeology through the reset, and she uses Insanity. And then I met another elite coach who she was on food stamps less than a year ago. I think it was 10 months ago. Her family was on food stamps, and she is on track now for a 6-figure income this year. That's amazing stuff. And as I listen to those stories, and then I walk around here, and I come to meetings like this, and I go, why them? And why not you yet? Like, what is it? Now, here we are, we're at Summit, it's a time to celebrate, but it's also a work weekend. And I go, why not you? Why aren't you at that elite reception? Why aren't you in Success Club within the first 2 weeks of every single month? Why not? And I think there's a difference there that is a self-limitation. Like, so for me, I can remember when I started the company, I was like, oh my God, if I work really hard, I could be a millionaire. Like, this would be awesome. This company could do $1 million a year. And we got there, like, in the first 2 years, we got there. And then I was like, wow, we could build this company. Maybe we could do $100 million with this company. And we got there, I think it took us about 8 years. And we were a $100 million company. And now, I'm staring in the face of, probably not this year, maybe next year, that we could be $1 billion plus a year company. So, yeah, right? This is just me. I got terrible grades in high school. How did this happen? C's. Algebra. It's very hard to keep your 14-year-old focused on algebra when she says, so how'd you do? Well, anyway, How about them Kings? Sorry, Eric. I don't care that much, whatever Rangers are. I'm in the process of what we call 3-year planning right now at the company. So we're working on what's 2015, 16, and 17 going to look like. You're going to love it. But as we go through that planning process and we look what's the product release cycle look like, what do we need in terms of nutrition R&D and fitness R&D and other stuff and technology and so on. As we look at that stuff, I've been in the room with people who haven't been through what I've been through, like people who come from consumer packaged goods and sort of the normal corporate thinking. And the other day I was in a meeting and one of the executives there said, well, we need to, how big can Shakeology be? We can't start thinking that we could have a million people. Right now we have about 250,000 people a month get Shakeology. My goal for that, my outside stretch goal was 100,000 people would ever take Shakeology every single day. We've got 250,000 people. It grows each month. It's outrageous. So we were projecting through, and it was like, and I said, okay, so by the end of 3 years, we should be definitely at 1 million or 1 million more. And then the executive goes, well, that's in the ideal circumstances if everything goes exactly right. I'm like, what? Like I wanted to pound my fist on the table. I'm like, wait a minute. What you're saying is that the growth rate, the trajectory of the business has been perfect up till now. So now the imperfection starts and there's no way we'll get to 1 million or it'll be just sort of like perfect if the wind is at our backs. I'm like, do you remember when we sort of botched that 21-day fix thing? We couldn't get it out fast enough. Do you remember when that also happened with T25? Do you remember when we went through that chocolate flavor change and that didn't quite work? Do you know how many things we've done wrong that have slowed down the growth of this business? We haven't been perfect. We haven't been close to perfect. If we're not at 1 million people in the Shakeology file in 3 years, that means we were less perfecter than we've been imperfect so far. So absolutely, we're going to get to that mark. Absolutely, we're going to be $1 billion plus multi-billion dollar business. The only people putting limits on what I can do or what Beachbody can do is me and Beachbody. And my point here is the only people putting limits on you and your ability to achieve elite, to be a Success Club 5 or Success Club 10 coach every single month, the only person putting that limitation on is you. It is up to you. We say decide, commit, succeed. And it's the same for if you're in the process of your fitness. It's the same it's in the process of your personal life, and the same it's in the process of your coaching business. You decide, you commit, you make the decision to be a coach, or to try Insanity, or try T25, or try PIOP. You decided that. You decide if you're going to stay committed to it. You're the one that decides that. So last night, I'm at this elite reception, people, fantastic people, are crying, oh my God, Carl, thank you so much. What a vision you had, you've changed my life. And I'm like, wait. You decided, you committed. This success is yours. So, and that means the failure is yours too. Right now, this weekend is an incredible opportunity to kick the limits off. When you see the people on stage, when you see the millionaires and the people celebrating their awards, you gotta sit back there and you gotta go, why not me? And you got to say, next year it's going to be me, or next month it's going to be me. We got to have these. It's amazing timing to make this decision, whether it's for the folks that are here or the folks that are at home. And it's okay, by the way. It's really important to me that we don't create a separation between the folks that can make it to Summit and the people that can't. I have no judgment on people who can't make it here. We're not that kind of company. It's if you can get here, great. Our job now is to share this information out and make sure that they understand that we are unified regardless of whether you're in Vegas or not, which is why Super Saturday is so important. But the opportunity here is you get to take your limitations off. You get to say, why not me? It's up to me. I'm going to be the one that makes the decision now. If you don't have a pad and paper, check your ego and ask somebody to borrow a piece of paper and a crayon because you forgot it, but you want to make notes. You should leave here, as this information is going to be shared, and you're going to hear from coaches even today. You're going to hear recognition, you're going to hear things that people did, and they're going to be great ideas. You should be sweating your writing so fast. You should have two pieces of paper, or two ways to organize it. One is ideas, things that you hear about, products that are being announced, things that you're excited about. And then on the other piece of paper, or you flip it over or whatever, you're writing names. Ooh, Janet would love that. Oh, I remember my boss was always complaining about how stiff he was. I should tell him about PIO. There's going to be things that you're going to learn about today. I think it's at 4 or 4:30 that you are not aware of, that are going to blow your mind. Really, really exciting, game-changing things. And what's going to happen is you're going to have these thoughts and these ideas about, oh my God, I have been trying to start a conversation with that prospect for 3 years now, and I've never known what to talk about. You're going to hear about things, your ideas are going to pop in your head this weekend, that you're going to be like, oh, I got to talk to that guy. Don't let it escape your mind. Don't think that after you have one of those tall drink hurricane or whatever they're walking around with, that you're going to remember who you thought of. You got to write it down. So borrow a piece of paper. Steal these reserved pieces of paper and use the back of them. Just go for it. You get this. Why not you? It's up to you. This is the weekend. You know, we have I'll tell you something that I'm kind of disappointed in, but that's okay, because disappointment is an opportunity. So down in the core, we have International Justice Mission, who you might have seen on Facebook. It's a personal thing for me, and a story that I'll tell later, but I'll tell a quick story now. Do I still have enough time? There's no timer on. It's okay? All right. So anyway, a few years ago, I gave a speech to a bunch of coaches in Chicago, and you know, I'm a human too, whatever. I gave this speech and I was just like, man, I was all full of myself. I could just feel my ego like, aren't you awesome? Yeah, I'm awesome. And the speech sort of, that was coming out. And I left, and finally you just have to sort of punctuate it, put a period on it. And I was like, hey, thank you, later. And I was just like, I did the best I could, but it just wasn't there. And I just felt all up in my own id, they call it, an id. And I was not happy. So I'm going down the escalator and heading back to the hotel. I'm just like, I just feel gross. Like I needed a shower, just like that. And I happened, it was in one of these convention centers. So you know how you go down the escalator and then the escalator and the other one. So I'm working, the third way down, I go and there's another event being set up, and it's these people from International Justice Mission. So you see these faces, you know, kids carrying bricks, a fuzzy image of a child brothel, like what is this? So I walked over, they're still setting it up and everything and getting everything ready for an event. And they said, yeah, we have a black tie event tonight where we're raising money. People come and it's a certain dollar plate, like $100, $200 plate dinner, and we talk about the problem of slavery, bigger than it used to be in the colonial slave trade days. And I'm like, really? This is still a thing? And they told me about a rescue that they had just done, and I'm like, I didn't even know this was still a thing. Like, you know, you hear about slavery, you know, in the 1800s, and you're like, well, if I'd have been there, man, I'd have fought that. Oh my God, here it's still here. Am I gonna fight it? Will I fight it now? So, you know, I was feeling kind of funky, so I wrote a check. Big fat check with a comma in it. And, they were like, who are you? Where'd you come from? Do you want to come to the dinner? I'm like, no, I don't want a dinner. I don't want, you know, I don't need a party for this. This is going to feel good. So it was a surprise check. So the CEO called me, a guy named Gary Hagen, and he said, that was pretty amazing. You know, we surpassed our goal because of the check that you wrote. And can we come out and talk? So he came out, and I realized that, and I'm like, you know, the check that I wrote was probably going to help free, based on their numbers, maybe 30 people. Maybe 30 to 40 people would get out of slavery. And that's a really cool thing. But that's 30 or 40 people out of 30 million. You know, how can I stop slavery? I don't have enough money to stop a $150 billion industry. But that's not the point. The point is, who's putting the limit on me? Who's putting the limit on us of what we can do? So I've got International Justice Mission down there. This is the only